What's up, everyone? It's Penuel the Black Pen. Not really inspired to make a video, but I think it's fundamentally important that I keep making videos for my channel, that I keep sharing as much education and knowledge as possible. So if I'm not as hyper and as excited today as I normally am, please forgive me. I'm not really in the mood, but the one thing I know is that if you want to be successful, you need to be consistent in putting out the work. So this is me making a video that I'm not fully inspired for, but that I know is going to add on to my work ethic. And that's going to help me push through even on days when I'm not particularly motivated. Afriforum is currently fighting, I think, at the Supreme Court of Appeal to reinstate, so to speak, the old South African flag, what Black South Africans call the Apartheid flag. Their argument, which the Deputy CEO Ernst Roots has said in a video that he released, the argument is that the flag itself is not hate speech and it does not incite violence. It is not necessarily targeted at a particular group. But he does acknowledge that, look, Afriforum in the past has said that, look, people shouldn't display the flag, even though some people do, and they're basically fighting to get this, I guess, this ban removed. You know, for me, very importantly, it's a reminder to constantly fight for your people and for whatever they believe in. You know, a lot of people have got issues with Operation Tudula and Unhlanhla Lux, but I've said before that Operation Tudula is fighting on behalf of a group of people. They may not necessarily represent all Black South Africans. They may not necessarily represent all South Africans. When they speak about putting South Africans first, when they speak about getting rid of illegal foreigners, undocumented foreigners, they are being sent by a group of people that are not happy. And that's essentially what Afriforum does. You know, some of the moves that they make, taking Julius Malema to court for singing Dubuli Bono, those things may not be supported by the majority of the country. If we were to vote in particular, they would lose. But they understand that there are systems out there like the courts. They understand that they can use social media, mainstream media, to fight for their group of people who are by and large the Afrikaner nation. White people, of course, but coloreds, definitely a big chunk of them. And I know any, even Black person who speaks Afrikaans and who identifies with Afrikaans culture are welcome to be a part of Afriforum. You know, so it's just a reminder to constantly fight for your people and for what they believe in. The other thing is Trevor Noah became the first African, I believe, to speak and be the MC at the Correspondence Dinner at the White House last week. The Correspondence Dinner, I believe it's a dinner for journalists and other media personalities in America. What was cute and why I'm mentioning it is because for me personally, it was the first time I saw Trevor Noah actually nervous. You know, listening to him speak, I think he stuttered now like a few times. And it was cute for me that like it was a big deal for him. You know, being seated next to the President of America, Joe Biden, and his wife, being seated next to other really, really big political figures in America, some big celebrities, some big journalists in the country. You know, literally it's taken him to that level of being one of the biggest voices in the United States of America. And obviously, because we know the United States of America is a superpower and dominates the minds of a chunk of the world, it means he's up there and it's a recognition for him globally, you know, as a great mind, as a great speaker, and as a great representative to be invited by the White House. I think when I mentioned it, someone did say that they've heard him, I think his first episode on The Daily Show, apparently he also seemed a bit nervous then. What was cool about Trevor is he did try, Shane. He did try to bash Joe Biden and some of his administration a bit in the jokes. But by and large, I think he veered on the safe side. You know, a lot of people, partly including myself, have said that Trevor Noah sounds a bit captured now, speaks a lot for the Democrats. We know he's got a good relationship with Bill Gates and the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. He did come to South Africa at some point and have a tennis match with Bill Gates and I believe Rafael Nadal as well. So a lot of people believe he's been captured. He represents I don't know if you call it the left in America, the liberals, the Democrats, and not so much the Republicans, your Donald Trumps and those type of people. But I mean, other people are like, look, the guy's just at work, he's doing his job, and whoever pays his bills, whoever funds him, I mean, almost everyone out there is captured in one way or another. You find that even if you don't earn a huge salary, might be earning 20,000 a month, but you won't go talk nonsense about your employer on social media. You won't bash the companies that you work for. You won't bash your bosses. So you might find that we have a similar situation here, because some of the things that Trevor said, in particular around the coronavirus pandemic and lockdown, has really, really rubbed people like myself up the wrong way. I'm a huge fan of Trevor Noah. He is one of my role models, one of the guys I aspire to be like. He's incredibly intelligent, without fancy degrees, and he has put in the work. His work ethic is insanely exemplary. The guy's literally got like no scandals, and he's hella funny, and like I said, hella intelligent. I was watching a video of his on Facebook yesterday, which was like bits and pieces of him between the scenes. I think it's called Between the Scenes on The Daily Show, where he was going through the various accents that he has and explaining his love for language, his love for learning different languages, his desire to assimilate with people when he speaks languages, that he even changes in his accent when he speaks to his grandmother, ugogo wakhe. I think ohlala Soweto here in South Africa, in Johannesburg, because it's more relatable to the person. Explaining that even with the accents, it's not necessarily that he does a country's accent per se, but he'll copy the accent of a friend of his from that country. Very brilliant with Spanish. He did German. He did an English accent from Trinidad and Tobago, etc., etc. Just a reminder for me how insanely talented he is, how insanely intelligent he is. One of the clips was when one of the ambassadors, I think of France or to France, sent him a message after he was like, I think France had won the soccer World Cup, and he was saying, well, Africa had won the World Cup because a chunk of the French soccer players were actually of African descent. And he was explaining that it's possible to be both French and African, because in a place like America, you can still celebrate your Irish heritage, your Canadian heritage, your African heritage, and your Puerto Rican, whatever heritage. And he doesn't see why in France, when people of African descent, black people do great things, they are only French. And then obviously, jokingly, he was saying that when they do bad things, it's like they want to isolate them to say, no, but it's those black African people, so to speak. So, yeah, man. Trevor Noah, one of the clips I saw of him was one where he was criticizing Elon Musk. Elon Musk has had a deal, I don't think it's fully gone through, purchasing Twitter for $44 billion US. And Trevor was criticizing the weirdness of how the wealthy behave, and in particular Elon Musk in this case. Interesting. A South African criticizing a South African in America on American platforms regarding American companies. It's quite cute. And look, it's testament to South Africans. The world is our oyster. We can achieve anything that we really, really want. There's a video of mine that went viral. It was a clip from the virtual Mkuku that I shoot with DJ Smooth, which we currently upload on the Hustlers Corner on YouTube. We release every Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 12 midday. So there was a clip where I was speaking about all these South Africans, who have achieved great things. I mentioned Trevor Noah, I mentioned DJ Black Coffee, I mentioned Elon Musk, I mentioned the wealthiest doctor in the world, Dr. Patrick Soon-Shiong. Tusombedu was one of the names I mentioned. I know some people mentioned some other names in the comment section. I think that was pretty cool. A TikTok account, Cooking with Black, edited that clip, put some captions there, and I think I stand to be corrected. I think on that TikTok account, Cooking with Black, it might be on, now I'm gonna lie to you. I think it might be on like 400,000 views. which is sick. But the cool thing for me is that it's a clip of myself speaking my mind and speaking positive energy to South Africans out there that, guys, the world is your oyster. You can achieve whatever you want in this world if you just apply yourself and if you're willing to move. The other really, really important thing to understand is that a lot of you are poor and are struggling because you're not willing to move. I live in Johannesburg in South Africa. I was born and raised in Newcastle, KwaZulu. My mother's not from Newcastle. My father is not from Newcastle. My mom is from Ekvogeni in Washbank, KwaZulu. My father's from Mpopomeni Township, KwaZulu. They decided to move to fertile earth and for better opportunities. And that's where I was born, in Matadine in Newcastle. And then myself, I went to and get an education in Grahamstown, in Makhanda, in the Eastern Cape at Rhodes University. I moved. And then from there, I moved to Johannesburg in Gauteng. And I can only imagine that I'm still going to move. I've got 2 children that are currently based in Ningbo in China. Their mothers teaching English there. My children are being exposed to different cultures, different experiences, because we understand and we embrace that the world is our oyster. And at any given time when there is fertile earth, you must move. You don't have to be stuck in one place and be like, yeah, but this is my home, you're selling out. According to history, our black South Africans came from the north. They moved down south for a better life. At any given time, if you had livestock and there was no water in the rivers, you would move. If the grass is no longer green, you move. If it's cold, you move to a warmer climate. I think that's fundamentally important. I had issues with Trevor Noah criticizing Elon. I thought it was hypocritical, especially for himself as a supposedly really, really wealthy person. If I were to take a rough guess, Trevor Noah probably makes $20 million a year, if not more. At an exchange rate of 15, I think that would be 300 million rand. I think 300 million rand a year. You know what I mean? It's an insane amount of money. So he's super rich, 0.001% of the wealthiest people in the world. And like I said, he's got a good relationship with Bill Gates. I don't know how close they are as friends, but he's criticizing a move by Elon Musk of using his shares to get a loan from the bank to buy Twitter without paying tax, because you get taxed on unrealized capital gains. That's discussion for another day. But I thought it hypocritical. And again, when I posted this, people were like, no, man, Trevor's just doing his job. He's cracking jokes, but he does understand that that's how the rich move to make sure that they avoid tax. Elon Musk doesn't earn a salary. You know what I mean? So I think at some point we'll have to have this discussion again on how rich people use their assets. They put them in certain vehicles like trusts, and then they try and make sure that they use non-profit organizations, CSI money. They use the bank's money, they use tax money to try and make sure that they pay as little tax as possible. They use as much of other people's money as possible. That's shout out to Robert Kiyosaki, probably the most popular personal finance guru in the world, and how they make sure that their wealth is constantly growing and it's never taken by anyone, but it's conversation for another day. Like I said, I wasn't particularly inspired to make this video, but I know that I need to put in the work. I believe in hard work. It's one of my favorite principles of penalism, which is my religion. You have to put in hard work. You have to work harder than everyone else. You have to work harder than you've ever worked in your life. And that's how you'll attain success. That's how you'll be healthy. That's how you'll have a meaningful life of meaningful struggle. Love you guys very much. I hope you'll have a great and blessed and inspired week. Look forward to connecting with you guys soon. Pen you while the black pen. Cheers.